I've wasted a couple of hours of my life that I will never get back perusing through General Motors forums to discover GM fans are very angry at General Motors right now. They say they've ordered the Cadillac Lyriq, they've ordered and they want it now, and they can't understand. They cannot understand for the life of them why no one is getting their Lyriqs that they've ordered many, many months ago. My Lord, this is a disgrace. How can this happen? How can General Motors ignore its customer base and not make any Cadillac Lyriqs? Well, they did not make any. They made 26. Mary Barra, remember she famously said, "We are number one. We led the industry." Well, now GM fans are starting to get mad. They're getting very mad on General Motors forums even, which is kind of funny to watch. Kind of funny to see them implode against each other. But honestly, while I do actually want General Motors to succeed, and you guys know that, it is true. I just think it's funny watching some of these people fight each other and argue about things. And I actually understand some of this frustration. I mean, look at how many Cadillac Lyriqs, General Motors pre-sold and then didn't deliver. And what do I mean by that? Well, General Motors delivered 12 Cadillac Lyriqs per month over the last 3 months. 12 per month. That's a problem because customers are starting to get angry. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you to our Patreon supporters for supporting us here on the channel. Really couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, I'll put a link in the description below. Any amount actually helps, because the more people that chip in with a couple of bucks here and there, that really does make a big difference. And I want to say thank you to those of you who are doing that now. And also our YouTube members, great to have you as well. If you want to be a YouTube member, you do get access to some of our videos in advance. So I'll put links in the description below to our YouTube member page and also to our Patreon page as well. Cadillac delivered, General Motors delivered 36 Cadillac Lyriqs in the third quarter of 2022. And the figures for the Hummer, which is a behemoth, and a lot of people hate it, but I think it's kind of cool. Sorry, but not sorry. They're not making many more of those. The numbers are, about 80 over the last quarter, something like that. So between the Hummer and the Cadillac Lyriq, GM says we've got all these EVs, but if you're not making them, then it doesn't really make a difference. That's what GM's fans are saying anyway. Cadillac Lyriq sales during the third quarter of 2022, according to GM Authority, which is a GM fan site, placed the luxury crossover at the bottom of the luxury D crossover segment when ranked by sales volume. The Tesla Model Y remained in first place with a 20% increase to 54,000 units, but there's a lot of demand problems there, while the Audi e-tron followed in second with a 397% rocket to 1,620 units. The Jaguar I-Pace placed third with 104 units. I'm amazed they're even selling, so that's good news for Jaguar, while the Cadillac Lyriq took fourth with 36. Neither the I-Pace nor the Lyriq were available during Q3 2021, thus making a year-over-year comparison impossible. From a luxury crossover segment share standpoint, the Lyriq held a less than 1% share. Model Y posted a segment leading 97% share. This is General Motors fan site saying this, by the way, not a Tesla fan site. Down 2 percentage points, while the e-tron held a 3% share, up 2 percentage points. Meanwhile, the I-Pace posted a less than 1% share. As a whole, the electric luxury D crossover segment grew 23% to 55,760 units during Q3 2022, primarily as a result of growth posted by Tesla. Now, I've got to say, kudos to whoever writes this stuff from this GM fan site. They're being very objective. It's quite refreshing to hear. And it's actually more objective than even much of the media, the general media. Cadillac Lyriq sales were minimal during the third quarter, they say, as a result of non-existent inventory. They've had years. What are they doing? Caused by minimal production volumes. Production of the 2023 Cadillac Lyriq kicked off on March 21st, 2022 at the GM Spring Hill plant in Tennessee. Since then, GM has steadily increased production output almost every month. This is where things start to get very confusing because GM said it has produced 2,000 units in October and 2,477 units in November, meaning they're saying they produced 4,500 vehicles in only 2 months, but delivered 26 of them. Is that really production? That's like having, the engine. You can't get any engines, right? Let's just pretend we're talking about old school gas cars. You can't get any engines. You build a car, you build a bunch of cars, you build 4,500 cars. There's no engines in them, there's no transmissions in them. And you say, well, we built these cars, production's done, it's finished. I don't think the customers are going to feel that way. So although Lyriq assembly rates are increasing, output is still restricted by the limited amount of lithium batteries or Ultium batteries and Ultium drive motors as GM works to increase supply via the Ultium cells plants. While production of Ultium batteries and motors had already begun at the new Ultium cells plant in Ohio, GM has also secured a $2.5 billion loan from the US Department of Energy to finance the construction of 3 more Ultium manufacturing plants. That is the Tennessee factory, the Michigan factory, and the Indiana factory. Now, following the completion of these plants, we expect, or GM Authority expects, that Ultium battery and motor production will drastically increase, unlocking substantial growth of the luxury electric CUV. Now, I want to point out before I go on here, it's a cool looking car. I mean, I'd happily own one of these. I don't like the long bonnet. I think that's a bad design for an electric car, but it does look good. It's a pretty practical car. It's for the price, I think it's pretty good value. But honestly, it's a joke that they make 4,500 in 2 months, claim they produce that many, but only deliver 26 of them because they don't have the skateboard. They don't have the actual car. That's the car. I mean, what do you have without that part? What do you have without the motors and the Ultium drivetrain? You got nothing. I don't get it. It's like the Flintstones running around using their feet for propulsion. Yeah, then you could say it's a car. So the optimism here persists though at GM. GM Authority says, beyond enabling higher Lyriq sales volumes, an increase in the supply of Ultium batteries and Ultium drive motors will enable a diverse lineup. In fact, the 2024 Lyriq is set to introduce 2 new trim levels, Premium Luxury and Sport, to join the existing base luxury trim per the Luxury Marquee's wide trim level strategy. Along with these new trims, the Sport all-wheel drive variant was recently introduced in China. Equipped with an electric motor on each axle, this variant will produce 503 horsepower and 524 pound-feet of torque, becoming the most powerful Lyriq. Finally, a widespread increase in consumer interest in electric vehicles is also expected. That said, though, to be fair, GM does have well over 250,000 reservations for electric cars right now, so I think they're pretty well aware that there's significant interest at the moment. As a part of the Inflation Reduction Act's $7,500 EV federal tax credit, an increase in interest could result in 50% of new car sales being EVs by 2030. For its part, General Motors plans to introduce 30 new EVs by 2025 and to stop producing gasoline-powered cars in 2035. Unfortunately, though, the $7,500 credit does not apply to this vehicle because the US government says it's not an SUV. It's something else. I don't know why. It doesn't qualify though. But the Volkswagen ID4, that does qualify. Apparently GM is lobbying the United States government right now, saying that it will fire President Joe Biden. Did I just say fire Joe Biden? They can't, surely General Motors can't fire Joe Biden, can they? No, just joking. Don't take that to heart too much, you Joe Biden fans. I don't care about politics, you know that. Anyhow, in the meantime, the 2024 Lyriq introduces just a few updates over the preceding 2023 model. As previously mentioned, the introduction of the Sport and Premium Luxury trim level serves as the highlight of the new model. Smaller revisions can be found throughout, including a bunch of stuff, and they've increased the price. Yeah, they've increased the price. Now, I don't know if that new price will apply to existing reservation holders. I mean, they do have 26 less existing reservation holders after the last 3 months, so at least they got through 26 of them, and those guys would have got the previous price, right? So that's good for 26 people. Now, the good news for General Motors is, well, they kind of have a captive audience. The US buyers love General Motors, right? Toyota, their EV or their vehicles with some kind of battery in them, meaning hydrogen-powered, plug-in hybrids, electric cars, their sales of those went down 40% last year. So GM, they can, if they ramp production, people will come and buy them. They'll sell millions of these in the US if they ramp production. Whether they can sell them at a profit, I don't know, but they aim to. I hope they do. And so GM do have, I think they've got a captive audience here. The reason being, they're going to make EVs in the US. Most of those vehicles will qualify for the $7,500 tax credit. GM also, because they're making the batteries in the US, they will get the extra incentive. No one's talking about this, but it's important. They'll get the incentive per battery pack they make. They also get a credit. That's really, really important. I think GM are going to do pretty well. But right now, these production volumes, they are just amusing. They're so small. They're just kind of a laugh, really. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.